Today on Gary's Urban Larder, I'm making Swedish cinnamon buns, or Kanelbullar. Let me know if I said that correctly in the comments below. And also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. I'm halfway there. I really need your help. So, with that said, let's get started. First thing we'll do is to review the ingredients. Now I have all the ingredients out for the entire process, but at the beginning, we're going to prepare our dough. So we have flour, sugar, yeast, some ground cardamom, salt, and some extra flour for dusting, and we have some very soft butter, which we're going to work into the dough. So we also, for the next step, after our dough is finished, for our spread, we have softened butter, sugar, cinnamon, and a bit more cardamom. And then finally, when we finish our buns after they've proved, we have an egg, which we'll beat with some water to make it egg wash, and then we'll brush the buns, and we'll sprinkle it with some pearl sugar. Right. So one other ingredient that I nearly neglected to mention is milk. We've got a cup of milk that I've scalded to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. It's at 36 Celsius. And I'm just going to add a bit of the sugar and the milk now to a large bowl where I'm going to add our yeast. And I just want that to bloom. So it'll take about 5 minutes for that to become frothy. So I'm just going to whisk that gently. And then just allow that to stand for 5 minutes until it becomes frothy. So I'm looking forward to this. I mean, really, there's nothing better to me than just the smell of a pastry made with yeast. And with the sugar, I can smell it already. And, well, wait a little bit and we'll get started on adding our flour, the rest of the sugar, and all the other ingredients. Our mixture has started to froth. You can just see it starts to just aerate, well, generate some gases to form on the surface. That's really what we want. So I'm going to add the rest of our sugar. I'm going to add our flour. I'm going to use a spoon to do that. Just adding that gradually. And I've got, roughly 4 cups, 450 grams of that strong bread flour, actually. So that's going in. To that, I'm going to add the ground cardamom. And give that a quick stir. And I still have salt that I want to add, but I'm waiting until I get most of the flour incorporated before I do. The salt can kill the yeast. We want to avoid that. And now add, sprinkle our salt around our mixture so that it doesn't fall in one area. And that's actually looking pretty good. So I'm going to turn this out onto a clean surface here to work in our butter. And I'm just going to lightly flour that. And it'll turn out our pastry dough. Get all of that out of there. Oh, it smells amazing. The cardamom is really fantastic. And it's not something I would have thought of using before hearing about this Swedish recipe. So, now, just want that to come together. It's really an easy dough to work with. It's not sticky. And I'm just being careful to work everything in. Now that I have that together, I'm going to start to work in our butter. And this really enriches the dough and makes it more like that brioche consistency and flavor. So I'm going to knead this for about 8 to 10 minutes and incorporating all of our butter. And once that's all in, we will cover it and let it rest for about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the ambient temperature and how quickly our yeast reacts. But I tell you, it smells absolutely beautiful. I'm just working in that butter. And as long as you have clean hands and a clean surface to work on, it should be easy to do. You can make the dough using a stand mixer and a dough hook, but you can see doing it by hand is also a possibility. A clean hand, a bit more flour, and use our scraper. To work it all together. A bit more, just so it doesn't stick. There we go. Like I say, I continue to work this and knead this for about another 5 minutes. And then we'll cover it and let it prove. Really just getting all of that distributed throughout the dough. And we want a really stretchy dough. So the reason for kneading it is to activate those glutens. You want to get that silky feeling. You see how clean my hands are now? And that's because it's getting to the point where we can allow the yeast to work. And it's incorporating all of the flour, which is what we want. I think kneading bread dough of any kind is really therapeutic, at least for me. It helps me sometimes release my stress, any anxiety. It's just such a good way of feeling close to the things you put in your body. Literally, you're close to it, you're in it. And I don't know, there's just nothing better for me. And I'm glad my hands are getting clean from the dough. You see that just picks it right up. See that? All of that. There we go. See? And I'm just pushing that away with the heel of my hand, turning it a quarter turn, and doing it the same again. It's not very warm in my kitchen. It's fairly cool. It's probably only 50 degrees in my kitchen. That's about 10 Celsius. So I'm going to make sure this is in a warm place and allow it to rise. Okay. Get that shaped. Got everything off our counter, everything off our tools. Pull that together. I think use this bowl here. I'm just going to use a little bit of butter just to rub around that. It makes it easier to get our approved dough out. All right. Let's pull that together. To a ball, into a ball, into our bowl. Just going to give that a turn. And now we'll cover this and we'll let it prove for about 45 minutes, maybe a little longer, given how cool it is in my kitchen, until it's doubled in size. And then we'll come out and we'll roll out our dough for our cinnamon rolls, our cinnamon buns. Okay, our dough has doubled in bulk, and now we're going to degas it, giving it a punch. I'm going to just lightly dust my clean work surface with flour, and out comes our dough. So then I just want to lightly do that, and my rolling pin, and we're going to shape this into a very long rectangle. And hopefully you can see the cardamom that is in our dough. You just want to keep moving this so that it doesn't stick, and adding a bit of flour as you go. So once we have this rolled out, we're going to spread it with our softened butter. And if you see it starts to spring back like this, you can just cover it and let it rest a bit, and then you won't have that issue. But it's not doing too badly of a job, so I'm just going to keep, nearly lost my pen, just going to keep rolling it out. into a rectangle. And it's okay to use your fingers and hands to tug at it to get it more square and uniform. And we're getting that about, so maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. Make sure I don't lose my pen. So I'm just going to pull that out. And make sure, you see it's got a very nice stretch to it. We're going to roll this again once we've got it filled. Here we go. All right. Now I've got my softened butter, and I'm just going to put that onto our dough. And I'm just going to spread that all over the face of our pastry. Now, fairly evenly, fairly thinly, that's 100 grams of softened butter, so what, 1/3 cup, roughly. All right, all of our butter is on there. Now comes the fun part. I'll take some of our granulated sugar, and I'm just going to coat the surface. And you can make a paste with the sugar and the spices and just spread that. But I like the control. I like control. I like the control of doing this myself. I can get the amount of sugar that I want on the surface. There. It's a good amount. And now I'm going to add some cinnamon. I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Oh, that smells wonderful. And you may recall, some of you have visited my channel before, that I'm not a big fan of cinnamon usually, but in something like this, definitely. Right. Get our cinnamon over this. Don't want any bit of it to really feel neglected. Right. Now, some more cardamom. Not as much. I just really want the hint. We have it in the dough already. So I'm just going to just sprinkle that, about 1 teaspoon, across the dough. There we go. It does smell amazing. And we're now going to fold it into thirds. So I'm bring the top down, and I'm going to bring the bottom up, and we're going to roll this again. I'm going to dust that and flip it. I'll get that fairly thin. fairly even. Some of that butter and spice mixture. Stretch that out. I wish you could smell this. Right. So now the trick is to cut it. And I'm just going to get a utility knife. And I want to get that about an inch. And I'm going to stretch that a little bit. Do another one. Another. I think what I'm going to do is split these, not quite to the end. You see that? And then I'm going to take that 2 fingers and I'm going to wrap that a couple of times and then up and through. And that's how we shape the dough. So let's see that again. Just going to split that and take 2 fingers and I'm just going to wrap the dough, stretching it as we go. And up and under and in. And there's one other way that you can do it. I can stretch this one a bit more. I'm just going to roll that, twist that actually. Yeah? So twist, twist, really get it twisted. And then I'm just going to roll that in on itself and then tuck the last bit under. And that's another way to shape our buns. So I'm just pulling that, stretching that gently, and just going to twist it. So get a nice twist in there. Roll that in on itself, and then the last bit goes under and tucks in. Do another one of those. Nice stretch. Nice twist. And then roll that in on itself. And the bottom goes under. Okay, so I'm going to just finish cutting and shaping my buns. And we're going to put these on a parchment lined tray. I'm going to set these apart and we're going to cover these and we're going to allow them to rise for a good 30 to 40 minutes. And then we'll put them in a hot oven, 200 degrees Celsius, 400 Fahrenheit. We'll cook them for 12 to 14 minutes. So I'll get this finished and then we'll prove them, and then they'll go into our hot oven. All right. Our buns have proved, and I'm now just going to take my egg with water and just beat that slightly to create my egg wash. Our oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 Celsius. There's our egg wash. Just going to take my brush and just paint each of these with the egg. This will give it a nice shine, and it will also allow our pearl sugar to stick. Now this is only part of the cinnamon buns that we've made. Got some more that are still continuing to prove, and which we will do as well. I really am looking forward to tasting these. It's going to be so good. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we'll add our pearl sugar. And this adds more sweetness, of course, but also crunch. These are going to be decadent, delicious, and really a nice treat. So make sure that it's not too close together, because they will spread. Okay? So have a look at these. Don't they look fantastic? So now this will go into our hot oven for 12 to 14 minutes. And then we'll bring them out, let them cool, and have a taste. It's going to be so good. Okay, let's get these in our oven. Middle rack. Okay, they're in our oven, 12 minutes, and we'll pull them out. I'll just get a rack so we can allow those to sit and cool. Okay, looking forward to this. Our buns have come out of the oven. They've been cooling just a bit, and oh, they really look wonderful. They do. I want you to have a look at them. Oh, isn't that amazing? It smells wonderful. I can't wait to taste it. So let's do that now. Oh. Oh. Mmm. That is really delicious. I love the crunch of the pearl sugar. I get a good hit from the cardamom and also the cinnamon. Delicious. Really beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us today on Gary's Urban Larder. If you enjoyed today's recipe and personal challenge for me, please give us a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Plus share this with your friends to help build our community. Until next time, goodbye.